Hi, welcome to I Tried to Eat My Phone. I am Karen Jaworski, and I am joined today by my dear friend Matt, and uh, we're going to talk about food. And honestly, one of the best parts about this is that when I worked with Matt many years ago, he was one of the best cooks that I know. You could flip burgers better than anyone I
We
know.
were fun. We had low standards. Yeah.
Well, when people drink a lot, they're fine with whatever. So.
I,
Um, so my first thought about talking with this, because this got brought up between my husband and I the other night, but what's your biggest cooking disaster? Like, what
uh,
have you ever made something that you're like, oh no, don't eat that. That's horrible.
yeah, two Thanksgiving. The one that pops to mind, two Thanksgivings ago, uh, I accidentally like quadrupled the salt. I brined the turkey and before I cooked it, and I don't remember whether I, it had at least quadruple the salt, and it looked great. And we actually had guests over, and they were trying to fake their way through it. That it's not too bad, and you know, and they were just using a lot of gravy. And but yeah, I ruined Thanksgiving turkey a couple years ago by
Okay.
if you brine a turkey, it really is way better. But you can't use
Did
cups.
did you rinse it? Like, because you have to
Now
rinse, right?
I think I doubled the salt, but not the water. I can't remember. I try to block it out of my mind, but I figured it out later, and they were being very nice guests. I mean,
I'm picturing like in Christmas Vacation where they're all like,
yeah. It was pretty close. If I had overcooked it on top of that, hold on, there's a guy coming up going to ask me for money. Hold on, I'm not going to make eye contact.
okay.
I'm at a truck stop, and he
Oh,
he definitely, and he's got a friend with a hood on looking at me too.
oh.
Hold
Hmm.
on, I'm gonna lock my door.
Okay.
I am at a truck in Michigan, by
I
the way.
know. I was just gonna say, wait, where exactly are you in St. Joe?
Almost there,
Okay,
almost.
all right.
Uh,
So I've traveled that road many times, so you're not too far from Ed and Mary. You should go up and say hi.
oh, okay, but if like you don't hear from me, I'm at a pilot stand, and
Okay, I have it on tape.
yeah, you see
So,
the truck behind me, by the way, going through.
oh yeah, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, he's definitely. There's another. There's two. Hold on. Remind me. Oh yeah, a funny story about a guy I know who's been mugged at gas stations twice.
Oh my God.
Uh, remind me of that one.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Never go into the mitten. It's a little scary up there these days. Do you have like with the cooking disaster, do you have a cooking triumph? Like, is there something where you were like, you made something that you were like, holy cow, so
um,
good?
a cooking triumph.
Hmm.
Uh, um,
Or what wins every time when you make something? Because I feel
uh,
like for me, like there's a few things that like every time I make it, people are like, this is the best thing ever. And
yeah,
I'm like, it's nothing.
yeah. I mean, I have risotto down pretty. I could do
Oh,
risotto, and that people like it, and my secret, if you put a little bit of truffle oil on anything, people just don't have. They think some French master. Just if you put truffle oil on, you could put it on anything actually. Uh, but risotto, I get pretty good reviews for risotto. Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Um, is there, because I feel like too, sometimes there's ingredients that intimidate me. Like I've had beets and they are wonderful. I've had roasted beets at like weddings and other places and they're fantastic, but I it's not an ingredient that I'm excited to work with. So is there
yeah.
an ingredient that intimidates you or that you're like, ugh,
Melting chocolate so that it doesn't
oh,
clump. That's a good one.
yeah.
Uh, I've actually gotten a decent way of doing caramel, but for a long time, caramel was my enemy, and I refused to do it. Uh, but the last three times I've tried to melt chocolate, it just always seems up to like turn into like grainy sand.
Yeah.
But yeah, melting chocolate is definitely my dire enemy.
Yeah. It's I well, so wait, caramel is like I think I did it once, but it's like sugar and butter,
It's
basically.
usually just sugar, and you can do it like a couple different ways. And I found this one way with a dry pan. Like there's ways, and then you don't put the cream in until the very end. But if you have like any moisture, it's really sensitive. But I
Okay.
just sugar
Hmm.
and a lot of patience. And
Okay.
yeah,
Wow. Okay. I need to try it again. Because I caramelize onions, like just, I mean, when you just put them in the pan with a little butter and like just low and slow and
for a
keep
long time.
going and stuff. Yeah. And like they taste so good, but actual caramel or caramel, however you choose to say it.
Yeah, I
Carmel's
don't
a
know.
town in Indiana, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that?
and which one did I say? I don't know. I think I bounce back and forth.
I know, me too. do you do you watch like a lot of Food Network type stuff?
Uh,
Like,
some my middle daughter wants to she's dying to get on the kids baking championships, and actually it's on my to-do list this week to figure out how she can apply. uh, but we watched the like, I don't know the names of them, but the cake decorating shows,
mhm.
and the kids and adults chopped. And I like what's his name, the Guy Fieri's
Yeah,
diners and
Diners, Drive-ins, and Drives or whatever. Yeah,
disco or something. I don't
yeah,
know.
I love that
Yeah,
show.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'll plot like if I see something good on that show, I'll put it on my Google map just so if in case I'm ever driving by it, stop it.
Yeah, they just had one on the other day where they featured a place like not too far from us here, and I was like, "Oh, we should go." And then I was like, "Oh, pandemic. Never mind." Like, because we just got further restrictions, so they
Oh,
started shutting everything down here. So Michigan's kind of closing up too.
hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, so because celebrity chefs, like, if you could pick a celebrity chef to come into your kitchen and cook with you, like,
Uh,
do you have someone that you really like?
Pick a celebrity chef. Um, no, I don't know. I mean, I do like what's his name, the Guy Fieri,
Mhm.
whatever
Yeah.
it is. I, I think he'd probably be the one because I mean, I like old school Emerald too. I mean, I don't even know if he's still around. I think he,
Yeah,
uh,
he's on QVC a lot.
yeah, selling all sorts of stuff. But I'd say one.
Yeah, I could see you and Guy getting along over a
Yeah,
grill.
yeah,
He's a good guy. He's been doing so much stuff for restaurants during the pandemic. Like he's raised like I don't know, something like $15 million for restaurant staff and restaurants and stuff. Like it's a great way to use your influence. Like I
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah. If I was thinking the other day, there's a program here where a gal on our radio stations here does this thing called Last Meal. And she asked people, like, if you had to have a last meal, what would your last meal be? So that's my question to you. What is your last meal? Like,
My last meal uh,
like, like
would,
at the end, like, what do you want to eat?
assuming I can still
Or it's
chew,
all,
and
we'll move your mouth for you.
so it doesn't have to be through a straw.
Yeah. Yeah. It's gonna just come through a tube and an IV. So
Okay.
yeah.
Uh, then I would definitely say uh, uh, have you ever been? If you're ever in Dallas, Texas, there's a great, and it's actually not far from their airport, place called the Hard Eight.
Hmm.
It's there's a couple of them around Texas, and it's a true like Texas style barbecue place where you go all the smokers are outside, and before you even go into their building, they have it all consolidated on one gigantic grill, and you just say, give me a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and they just put it on the tray and they slide it through the door, and you just pay by the pound. But you can get, brisket, anything, some Texas sausage. I like that too.
Yeah.
Uh, at some point, I think I have to live in Texas, actually.
Well, they give you like the big Texas toast or whatever with it
Yeah,
too, don't they? Yeah. Like
yeah,
to
but
sop up all the.
yeah, and they are, and a real Texas barbecue place will have a gigantic vat of jalapenos and another one of beans. It's, just have as much as you like.
Just dig into the vat.
Yeah, you just pay, but you just pay by the pound for the meat. But I would probably say, a full assortment platter, uh, of Texas barbecue.
Yeah.
Maybe
What?
maybe some Pequods for an appetizer. Maybe.
Oh, they just featured that on have you ever watched the pizza show?
That
It's on Netflix now, I think.
no.
It's a guy, he's a pizza restaurateur from like Brooklyn. He's
Okay.
like super tattooed young guy, younger than us, and he goes around the country and like talks about pizza and stuff. And so just search it on your TV,
Okay.
but the pizza show, excellent show. And he's a great host, but he goes to Pequods. And John, every time there's a show about anything with a restaurant in Chicago, John's always like, "Did you go there? Did you like that place?" And I'm like, "John, it's been 20 years since I've lived in Chicago." But Pequods came on and I'm like, "Oh, Pequods, like that is like we went there for I think before Kara's wedding a couple
Uh,
years or however many years ago, 10 years ago.
you'd
We
be
went
depressed
there.
as have closed in Chicago. Like,
Oh,
well, Quads is still there.
okay.
Rosangeles closed. Do you remember
Yeah, I
Rosangeles?
do. That
Yeah,
closed. Oh gosh. Just
yeah.
all from the pandemic.
Well, no, Rosangeles closed a few. No, just because we're getting old. And the two Rosangeles guys just retired, and they were. I don't
Right.
know. I mean, it must be the real estate was so valuable, but I
Yeah.
don't know how nobody took that over.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, and then even they've threatened to close twice. I'm on a lot of restaurant like mailing lists.
Hmm.
Like I probably read more about new restaurants and stuff than I do for work. Uh, but the German up in the German part on Lincoln,
Yes.
what's it called?
Yeah, Maria and I used to go there all the time. Yeah.
With uh, yeah, the one with Larry Bird played the band
Yes. Yes.
there. I think they've closed. They were
Didn't
gonna
they
close.
closed like a year or two ago, maybe?
Yeah,
No.
but then
Yeah.
close, and I'm not sure. I'll have to
Okay.
check.
Yeah. No, we used to, that was Maria's birthday thing. She always wanted to go there. We would go and get German food and yeah. I even was telling John, I was like, oh, I'm like, I remember when I moved out to Seattle being like, where's all the good Mexican food? Like I was so used to like you could go anywhere in Chicago and get
Yeah,
great Mexican food. And I came out here and I was like, that's
yeah,
it. I mean, here, you can like throw a stone and you're in a really awesome Thai food place or a great sushi place. And I appreciate that. But like the Mexican food, I was like, oh, Chicago had it in spades. Like I didn't know how spoiled I was. Like over by
yeah,
Rush on the
yeah,
west side when I worked over there, like it was all Mexican food. It was so good.
yeah. Down in that, well, I mean, I'm in the burbs of Atlanta. Uh, we have one good deli. I miss delis.
Mm,
Uh, and we have some decent pizza. And
okay.
actually, I have more, uh, several choices of good bagels. Uh,
Oh,
just because I live, you know, I call it the Yankee ghetto, where all all the
the
Yankees moved to
transplants.
all these couple different towns on the north side, and everybody's from New York, New Jersey, or Chicago. We can
Okay.
actually uh, good bagels and good pizza. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Did
Mexican.
oh, go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead. What was your question?
Did you ever think about like food as a career, like in terms of being like a chef or a cook? Or I mean, because you kind of took over when we were at
Uh,
working at Senior Bar, and
no, not to. I mean, I've thought about it, but never seriously. I mean, growing up, I wasn't exposed to much variety of food at all growing up.
mm,
Uh, I mean, basically, my dad doesn't like any vegetables, and he pretty much likes spaghetti sauce and sausage,
uh-huh.
and like, so my mom catered to what he would eat,
Yeah.
and so there, I really didn't have that much variety because there was so much he's gotten a lot better now. But growing up, I mean, I was never exposed to really good food. I mean, I remember it was like at a family reunion the first time I ever had barbecue, and but I was in college before I'd had barbecue,
Hmm.
and I didn't eat fish until after college. So if I had been exposed earlier, maybe I
Yeah.
would have. But no, I didn't really start eating out until after college.
Huh.
Um, So, but someday my middle daughter wants to go to the color. Have you ever been to the CIA, the Culinary
Haven't.
Institute?
No.
You should go.
No.
She wants to go
Okay.
there, and I'm committed to opening a bakery with her someday.
I love that idea. I think that I would frequent that bakery.
Of course, she thinks that she doesn't think that she's going to have to wash any dishes.
See, but
She
that's the thing is when like I'm always like I love cooking. My mom and I always say this. We love it, but we don't like the part where you have to clean up afterwards. Like if you had like a sous chef doing like all that stuff,
yeah
that would be great. You could
yeah
just go to town.
you have to be
But
really successful, I think, before not wash dishes.
does she bake and do stuff at home?
Yeah, she loves baking, and
So
she'll spend the
great.
whole Saturday making a cake, and we have to like stop it at 4 layers because it's over. Uh, and actually, yeah, so she'll make cakes randomly and then just give them around, give them to neighbors. But she does the fondant and all that, and
Oh,
and yeah, I'll send you some pictures. She gets
yeah,
into
no, do.
yeah yeah
Well, good for her. It's I love when kids find their passion early on.
yeah
Like
yeah.
that's pretty cool. Yeah. I were you so you were talking about your dad. Were you a picky eater when you were growing up?
No, I wasn't a picky eater at all. I just wasn't exposed to much. I mean, every night we either had chicken or steak,
Mhm.
and then the you know or tomato sauce with chicken or steak in it. Uh, uh, I'm not complaining in case my mom sees this. She cook, but it was very limited what she could make because of what my dad and both of my brothers were pretty picky.
Were they? Okay. Yeah. I always think of that there's a clip from The Simpsons where Marge they're at like a state fair or something and there's craft booths and someone made a spice rack and she looks at it and she goes, "A spice rack?" And she goes, "With room for 8 spices." She goes, "Must be doubles." And then she holds up a bottle and she's like, "Oregano? What the hell?" Like, so I was like, I mean, when you grow up in families like Irish families and all that it's like the seasoning is salt. Like
Yeah,
that's you just salt it and you boil it until it's dead. Like that's kind of like the whole cooking concept back behind there. And but that always whenever I'm using some sort of new spice on something, I'm like, oregano.
yeah,
But I think too, like, so I would say John was talking about this last night. Like, there, if we go to a restaurant and they have a French dip, sandwich.
Mhm.
He always gets it because he feels like that's his litmus test of like
Yeah.
what's good. Is it good? Then great. So do you have a litmus test? Is there something that if it's on the menu, you always get it?
Similarly, I pretty much will order a pastrami sandwich anywhere they have
Uh-huh.
a pastrami.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably my litmus test.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah. But see, I have a thing with restaurants. I have a weird. It drives Danielle crazy. I just, it's like I'm on this eternal search. I just always want to go to a new restaurant. I don't have any in Atlanta. I mean, in Chicago, I had, some regular places, but it seems like I just always want to go to new places. It bugs her that I'm always searching for new places. Uh, but I really want to go to a place 2 times. I don't
Huh.
know, because I'm missing out on something. I don't know.
Ah, that sounds familiar. That's a little bit how John is. When we go to like a festival and there's like all the booths with like 10,000 different things, I always get the same thing every time. Like there's this Russian pierogi stand and I go there every single time and I get the smoked salmon and cream cheese pierogi and that's like every time we go to a festival that's what I get. And it drives him nuts cuz he's like you get the same thing like every time. But he's more like he looks at everything he's like I don't know what to get like and then it's like overwhelming. He's like I got to try something new and then he gets something and he's like immediately remorseful. He's like, oh, I should have gotten like he'll see someone walk past with something else and he'd be like, oh, I should have gotten that. Like, so.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no. I check out everybody else's food for sure. And
You're the
every time I go to a new barbecue place, though, yeah, they always will have like a. It's always way too much food, but they'll have like
yeah
a free meat thing. I got to try, you know, their brisket, their pork, and the sausage, or
yeah.
as many but it's always way too much food.
Do
Always.
you have a meat slicer at home? Have you ever made your own pastrami?
I do actually. I did just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I've done. I've done it. I do it probably about once a year.
Okay.
Uh, Highly recommend it. You guys have a smoker?
We do not. It's been a conversation for a long time because we have well, we used to have a sausage stuffing thing, and I
Attached?
made my own sausages
Yeah.
and got the casings and did all that. And then Maria, our oldest daughter, became vegetarian about 5 years ago because of her love of animals, which I was like,
Uh-huh.
okay, great. And she's a very healthy eater. We always say if everyone ate like Maria, like the world would live until they were like 150. But yeah, she's so I have uh changed my diet to be mostly
Okay.
vegetarian too, which I mean, I'll still eat, every once in a while I'm like, you know what? Let's get a steak. Like so I'm fine to be like mostly vegetarian. Um but yeah, but John, we've talked about a pizza oven and a smoker. Those are the
Yeah.
two things we've talked about getting at some point. But so you have what kind of smoker do you have?
It's called a Primo. It's a ceramic one. It's kind of a competitor to the Big Green Egg.
Okay.
Uh, it's just oval shaped and black. It's a Kamado style.
Okay.
So you can, and I like it, but I need bigger. I've been shopping around for like what they'll call a vertical, or it'll look like a little kind of vault style smoker.
Oh, okay. Are those electric or do you use like wood and like
Yeah,
or is it a combo or
wood, charcoal and wood. Yeah.
okay.
Don't buy a gas or electric smoker, or at least don't do that.
Okay.
That's 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 cheap.
No, yeah, when it comes up here, it's because we're watching something about people living in Alaska or something, and they're like smoking salmon, and it's like this, little
Yeah, no,
outhouse thing, and like
there
John's like,
are.
we got to do that.
Yeah, there are. You can find do it yourself plans to build little cedar smokers. I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Uh, of building a fireplace slash smoker,
Hmm.
maybe oven. I've just started researching plans.
Okay.
For,
Okay.
yeah, but
Yeah.
get a wood smoker. Don't
Okay.
get. That's
Good. Matt, thank you for talking about food. I would sit here for 3 hours talking to you about food, but
I
I'll
was
let you
well. So
go. Enjoy seeing your brother and have fun in Michigan, as much
I
fun
will.
as you can have in
Well,
Michigan right now.
sorry, I was distracted and just again, the shady characters at this truck stop riding around
Yeah.
keep at me funny.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I'll let you get out of there before you get mugged.
Yeah, I better do that.
All right. Thanks, Matt.
Good talking to you, Karen.
All right.